Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff of California. He's the ranking Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman Schiff, thanks so much for being here. You were just briefed. Is there a credible threat to the homeland from al-Qaeda or a similar terrorist group?
There is a threat, and I can't go into the specifics, but we often see around pivotal events like an election, like July 4th, an increase in the threat to the country. And here you have al-Qaeda that is still trying to prove that it's lethal, still trying to compete with ISIS. ISIS losing its caliphate, trying to lash out. So there are heightened worries around this election. I put those in context. We have these concerns over every election, but I have to say I think there's more of a concern this time than I've seen in the past.
Is there anything specific, and what should people out there be on the lookout for?
Well, I'm not sure that there's specific enough information to help people be on guard. Obviously, people are well to be cautious to let law enforcement know if they see something out of place around an election site. But there may be other areas that would be equally traumatizing that would also be of concern. But unfortunately, not a lot of specifics that can help warn the public.
There's also this threat of a cyber attack, specifically from Russia. Nearly every state has asked the Department of Homeland Security for protection from this. What can you tell us about that? Is Russia definitely trying to do this?
Well, Russia has definitely been interfering with the election. They have been hacking and dumping of documents, as the administration has acknowledged. They've also been probing the state voter databases. So they have prepared the field if they want to escalate, either in the immediate run-up to election or on election day. They are capable of doing damage. They're capable of sowing further disarray. Will they end up doing it? We don't know. And I think we're taking all the precautions that we can. The Department of Homeland Security working very closely, as you say, with the states to prepare them. There are also the risks, though, of non-Russian actors, like we saw likely with the denial of service attacks that could provide a massive disruption in terms of propagating information about the election. So these are all, I think, worries that we have going in, and I don't think any of us can say specifically what steps either the Russians or others may take.
Speaking of intelligence, 1 week ago today, FBI Director Comey upended the presidential race by sending this letter to Congress saying that they had discovered emails that they didn't know about that were on Anthony Weiner's computer. They might be relevant to Hillary Clinton's investigation into her private email server. 2 days before Comey made that announcement, Rudy Giuliani was on Fox, and he said this.
And I think he's got a surprise or two that you're going to hear about in the next 2 days.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about some pretty big surprise.
Oh, yeah, I heard you say that this morning. What do you mean?
You'll see.
Stay tuned. Rudy Giuliani, you're lucky because we got to go. I'm out of time. Otherwise, I keep pressing you.
We're not going to go down, and we're certainly not going to stop fighting. We've got a couple things up our sleeve that should turn this around.
Couple things up our sleeve. We should point out Giuliani is an advisor to Donald Trump. Now, this morning, Rudy Giuliani was asked how he knew this. Take a listen.
I had expected this for the last, honestly, to tell you the truth, I thought it was going to be about 3 or 4 weeks ago. I did nothing to get it out. I had no role in it. Did I hear about it? You're darn right I heard about it. And I can't even repeat the language that I heard from the former FBI.
Well, what's your reaction? I know you're a Hillary Clinton supporter, but also as somebody who is the ranking Democrat on the Intelligence Committee who has concerns about the integrity of law enforcement and intelligence.
Deeply troubling. I mean, if he's telling the truth here that he had advance notice that the FBI was looking at Anthony Weiner's laptop and there was something on it that might refer to the email investigation, and he was tipped off by people within the Bureau, that is appalling. All of these leaks that have come forward in the last few days I think tremendously undermine the Bureau's credibility. They inject the Bureau into the presidential race. It's going to do long-term damage to the Bureau, which is going to be difficult to repair. But if indeed they were communicating with the campaign itself, the Trump campaign, that is among the most appalling things I've heard.
All right, Congressman Adam Schiff, thank you so much. Good luck in your re-election, sir.
Thank you.